Ladies and gentlemen, it is Johnny TCG coming at you with another video today. Today we're coming at you with a video all the way from the great city of Mexico City, Mexico. Despite being out of the country, I am bringing you the content that you need. Today's video is not just any other Katakuri video. This is a Katakuri video that will get you beat up at locals. They do not want you playing this list. The reason you're going to get beat up if you play this list is this is a Katakuri list with 50 triggers. Literally, almost every single turn you could play a trigger. Every time your opponent swings into your life, they risk you playing out a character for free or maybe KOing one of their characters with Egghead Nami. This is definitely a troll deck. I don't think you're going to take this to regionals or a treasure cup and win big there, but I do think you could take it to locals and just troll the heck out of everybody and be a menace. I've certainly been having a ton of fun with it on the sim. Katakuri's leader ability of allowing you to rearrange your life cards along with all the triggers in your deck, it's just a match made in heaven. Of course, without some of the bigger bodies you'd expect in a yellow deck, like 10 cost Big Mom, maybe 7 cost Big Mom, or Yamato, or Ace. This deck isn't really like competitive because you really are living and dying by the triggers, but you would be surprised how well this deck does despite not having those cards. I'd say there are about 3 types of triggers in this deck. The first we'll talk about are cards like Charlotte Cracker, Charlotte Pero Sparrow, Sanji. Now, these triggers require you to trash a card from your hand when playing out these characters. Trashing a card isn't always ideal, and in some cases you won't use the trigger, but sometimes it doesn't hurt at all and you just got yourself a body for 1 card from hand. The second type of trigger, which we like to see even more than the first, is the Wano Country triggers. This includes Inuarashi, Kikanojo, Denjiro. Now, with these cards, your opponent has to be at 3 life or less, and then you can play the card out for free. For free! Can you believe that? That's a deal. Especially with 4 life leaders and even 3 life leaders like ST10 Luffy, you're able to get them down to 3 life really quickly, and this ability becomes active like that. The third category of triggers, I'd say, is the ones that have board interacting effects. So for example, Nami, her trigger allows you to use her on play ability, which is discard a trigger card from your hand, then KO one of your opponent's characters with a cost of 5 or less. When you do that, if you have 3 cards or less in your hand, you may draw a card. So getting this and KOing blocker that your opponent did not expect to be KO'd, of course, is really helpful and puts you in positions to win. We also have a Snake, which is a new card in OP08 as well as Egghead Nami. Her trigger is that you get to use her main ability. Her main ability being on play, one of your opponent's characters cost 6 or less without the name Monkey D. Luffy cannot attack during your opponent's next turn. Basically, it's a mini beige. It only hits 6 costs or less, which isn't ideal, but hey, mini beige, I'll take it. One of the MVPs in this deck are You're the One Who Should Disappear. This 0 cost 3000 power counter card. It's a good normal counter card, you know, but what really makes it work is that if you have it as your last life card, you get to heal a life and then trash 1 card from your hand. Who doesn't want to heal a life? If you see this in your life when you're using your leader ability, you are putting it back down to the bottom immediately. Play Slice. This event can be used during your turn or your opponent's turn as a counter, which is really interesting. It is 1 cost. Give up to one of your leaders or characters 1000 power. Then, if your opponent has 2 life or less, rest one of their characters with a cost of 4 or less. And then the trigger allows you to rest one of their characters of 4 or less. This allows you to go for game if they have a blocker up and it's 4 cost or less. Throw this down, go for game, profit, you know? That was cringe. That wasn't cringe. Never be afraid to be cringe, guys. I made this list as a joke, but you are really going to be surprised with the results you get with this list. Katakuri is just such a generically good leader, and a lot of these triggers are just unfair in the right circumstance. Like your opponent can be going for game, I trigger out a couple of bodies, and then my last life is a beige, preventing them from that last swing, and now it's just kind of GG's for them. They got the bad luck. Of course, the luck can go in your opponent's favor, and you'll get no good triggers at all. So this deck isn't meant to be taken too seriously, but if you want to troll some people, if you want to have a little fun, if you want to play the lottery and become a gambler, that's your way to do it. Before we get into the gameplay, I do have a Don giveaway. Of course, Johnny TCG has a custom Don giveaway. He always has a custom Don giveaway. We are going to give away this custom Boom Don card, holographic, with art from the One Piece Colorwalk series. Chef's kiss. I am not the artist. This is Ichiro Oda's work. I am not selling this. This is just a fun fan project. If you want to win it, all you got to do is 1, leave a like, 2, leave a comment, and 3, leave a big ol' smile. Just kidding. That was a bad joke. I'm full of bad jokes today. What can I say? If this video gets 25 likes in the first 24 hours, I'll send this custom Don card to one random US-based commenter completely free. All you gotta do, leave a like, leave a comment. Thank you all for the support thus far. We just recently hit 500 subs, and I cannot believe it. I really appreciate all the kind words, the likes, the comments, even the roasts in the comments. Let me hear it. Tell me I'm cringe. Tell me I'm a fool. The goal is to get to 1,000 by the end of the year. If you want to help a guy out and you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. Okay, maybe you will regret it when you see some of the other lists I come up with. But seriously, I appreciate the love. You're tired of me yapping. Roll the gameplay. Katakuri versus Purple Luffy. This is going to be the perfect showcase of this deck. What happens when it absolutely all goes perfect and according to plan. We are on the odd curve. We are cool with that. We are going to start with the big swing with our leader. We want to get them low on life so that our 3 life requirement for Wano triggers is active. They're going to take that first hit. We saw the beige in our life and put it to the bottom. Things are going smoothly. They're going to use leader ability, put themselves at 3 life. I didn't even have to do it, and swing 6 at me. I'm going to counter out of that with a 2K, and they are going to go ulti into page 1. That is a solid play by them, but alas, we are still in a good position. I even considered playing the flame split and resting maybe page 1 and swinging into that, but I decided not to. That's a little silly. We swing 7,000 at lead. See, we have the Denjiro. We love that. It'll be a free trigger when they swing into my life. Then we're going to play the Kikinojo. Kikinojo, if they decide to KO it, will heal us a life, and so that's just great. What's more there? What is more? What can I say more than just that? It's a great play. 5,000 at me. We'll take this and trigger out the Denjiro. It's a 5 cost, so it can't be KO'd by Poly or starter deck 4 King if they run that spice. They're going to swing 5,000 at me with ulti. I decide to give them a counter. I just don't want to go too far down in life. I probably didn't have to do that. Now they'll probably swing with page 1 and play a blocker. So we'll see what they do. 7,000 at me. I will take this, and we get another Denjiro trigger just from swinging into me. I got 2 5-cost bodies this turn. That is ridiculous. If you were playing this at locals, your opponent might just punch you in the face. That just, like, I'm sorry. Like, that's just so cruel, and yeah, that's just messed up. This is a Drawlin troll deck. 7 Don to work with. I am going to start by swinging 7 into the ulti, even though I probably could put pressure on life. We see we get the Egghead Nami in our life, and that is going to be great. I can already tell next turn they're going to swing into me. I will play the Nami trigger and KO the Eustace Captain Kid. Now we're going to go 7,000 into the page 1. This probably could have been into life. I might just get some counter out of hand for it, though, so we'll see. If they counter it, fine. If they let it go, fine. But I don't really think we're in a danger of losing this game, at least. They do give me the 2K. That's fine. I decide here I'm just going to pressure life a little bit, and I'll go 7 with Kikinojo into their leader. I'm hoping that they don't use the blocker. Let us get some counter out of their hand or have them take life, because we will be able to KO the blocker off of the Nami trigger. Here I'm debating on whether or not I even maybe want to play Inuarashi or just swing big with Denjiro.
But I think Inuarashi is just a better play, go wide a little bit. Denjiro would be immune from being KO'd by effects, which would be good if they played a 9-drop Kaido. I'm not even sure if they have enough to play the 9-drop Kaido, so I'm just talking crazy right now. 6,000 in the lead with Denjiro. They have the 2K for that, and then I'll just play out the Inuarashi. I am surprised they do take their life to use leader ability. They are at 9 Dan. We could see the 9-drop Kaido. We could also see maybe a Kid blocker and a Law blocker. This will be interesting. They start with 6,000. I will counter out of that, keeping my characters alive so that I can swing at them next turn. We will take this 5,000 swing because we do want to activate the Egghead Nami trigger. We are able to get rid of their Captain Kid blocker. They play the Charlotte Linlin 9-drop, which is solid for them. It will give them an extra life, but I don't think it's really going to change the outcome of this game. We are going to start out with a 8,000 power swing into the page 1 just to check out our own life and get this page 1 off the board. I do not feel like I'm in risk of dying this turn, so I am okay to put some pressure on their board. I might even still have lethal after this swing, and so I don't know, maybe it's a misplay, but I felt pretty comfortable swinging at that. We're going to go 6,000 with Kikinojo, make them give me a 2K counter. They do. That is fine with me. Now I am debating on what my play here should be. I am going to do 8,000 with Denjiro. The 2 Dan protects it from being KO'd by effects. Now, this is also partially me going for lethal, but I don't think it would have been a bad idea for me to play my Denjiro from hand and give him 2 Dan just to ensure that he would survive a 9-drop Kaido effect. We're just going to throw it all on Inuarashi. I think I'll be safe to survive even if they go all out this next turn, and they do have the counter, so maybe I will get punished. They won't be able to go for lethal, but they might be able to clear my board and pull some other shenanigans. 9,000 at Denjiro. I might actually counter out of this. Maybe it doesn't matter though. I should keep the Nami in my hand to get rid of a blocker if they play one this turn. We'll let the Denjiro go. Now they're going to go 6,000 into Inuarashi. 9 Dan left. I bet we're going to see another Charlotte Linlin, and so I am going to keep that alive. We don't see the Linlin. We are going to see the Queen. They are going to put 1 blocker up. This is great. I do have the Nami in hand, and they play down the Law as well. I think we should be able to get past them right here. We are going to use Nami to get rid of the Queen, and what would you know? We get the Blaze Slice off of the Nami effect to rest their Law. That was amazing luck. That game must have been infuriating to play if you were my opponent. GG's. We got a match against Red Purple Luffy from Starter Deck 10. We are going to be going on the odd curve. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but between the fact of my leader ability giving me an extra 1,000 power on every 1 Dan swing, and the fact that they are at 3 life from the get-go, meaning a lot of my triggers will already be active, I think we might have the advantage in this matchup. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have the advantage in this matchup. We'll start out our 3 Dan turn by just swinging big at them, wanting to see what the top of our life is and moving it accordingly. We're going to put the Sanji blocker at the bottom just because late game, if they're applying a lot of pressure, that blocker might come in handy. They give me 2 2Ks, which I did not expect at all. They gave me a Black Maria and an Otama. That is fine with me. Getting 2Ks out of their hand early, 2 of them, that's crazy in my opinion. They're going to go Bond Clay and then 7,000 into me. I don't like the idea of taking this without knowing what it is, but we'll take it. And it's the S-Snake. Her trigger does not do anything here. So that's a little bit of a flop, but it's all right. We might go 7,000 with leader and then play out the Kikinojo. We could also go 8,000 with leader and play out the Parasparrow. I think that the Kikunojo play is definitely better, so we'll do that. Start off our turn, swing 7 at their leader. Look at our top life. It is the Inuarashi. We love to see that, so we'll leave it on the top. They have another 2K. That is 3 2Ks out of hand already. Bold of them. We are going to play out the Kikunojo here, and we'll pass it back to them with 7 down to work with. Now, the Kikunojo does make it so the Bon Clay can swing for 6,000. That isn't great, but we're going to get a body off the trigger, so that's really not a big deal to me. They're going to go with the lead performer disaster event to draw 1 and Rampadon. Then they can Rampadon with their leader ability. That is pretty solid for them. They've got 5 Don to work with. We could see a Queen blocker. We could see a Eustace Kid blocker. They're going to go 7,000 with Bon Clay. I'm actually going to counter out of this because I'm a little worried about a starter deck 10 blocker Law. That would have made me trash 2 cards from my hand, which would have felt very bad. They play out the Zoro Joro. I wonder if they had the Law in their hand, and that's what they were planning on swinging with and playing. They will swing 7 with leader, which I'll take, and play out the Inuarashi. This turn, I have some options. I could do S-Snake to prevent the Zoro Joro from attacking, but that's when I have a Brain Blast. I can use Inuarashi's ability to actually KO the Zoro Joro, which is pretty crazy. Not that crazy. There's crazier things that have happened in life and in the One Piece card game. We're going to trash, I think Paros is probably the best to trash, and then KO the Zoro Joro. They got 0 value from that. And 7,000 into their leader. I could have also swung into Bon Clay. I probably should have. I don't think it really matters if I swing into Bon Clay now with Kikunojo. It's not like they're going to counter out of a 6,000 swing into a 1,000 swing. Now we're going to go 7,000 with our leader. We'll be able to check the top of our life, see what we got. It is a Nami. That is fine. I don't think it's the best, but it's fine. If they play out a Queen or a Kid, then that'll come in handy. And then for 4 Don left, we are going to play out the Sanji blocker just because we are at the point in the game where they might start dropping a 10 drop turn skip gear 5 Luffy, and that can make things funky. So I'll get a blocker out there that can also be a potential swing if I need it. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. A Monkey D. Dragon would actually be great for them. They would definitely be able to clear my board between the Dragon and the Luffy. 8,000 at Inuarashi. I could get out of this. It would take a lot of counter from my hand, and I do not like the idea of going down so low in card advantage, especially when there is a turn skip Luffy hiding in the shadows waiting to be played. Now they'll play out a Queen and do some card cycling, draw 2, trash 1. They've got 4 Don to work with still. That Queen might not be an issue if we just hit it with the Nami. They're going to leave 4 Don open. I bet they just have events like Radical Beam. So we won't be able to get lethal this turn, even if we do pop the Queen with Nami. That is fine. We'll start out with the Nami play, trash the Kikunojo. Maybe I should have kept the Kikunojo. I could have played it out this turn as well, but I think just swinging big makes more sense. We're going to swing 8,000 with Kikunojo, and then we'll be able to swing 8,000 with our leader. I'll leave Sanji standing so that he can potentially block for me. They will counter out of the first swing. That is fine with me. We'll take a look at their life. Lead performer disaster. That has a trigger, so we are going to put that at the bottom. Now they've got 1 life card left. I've got a decent board. I like where we're at. I should not like it too much, though, because you never know what kind of shenanigans they're going to pull. 6,000 with their leader into me. I have the Nami trigger on there, and the Nami won't do me any good if I let it hit. So I'm thinking maybe I give him the 2K here. I think we do give them the 2K here. We counter out of that. What are they going to do for 10 Don? Maybe a Newgate, maybe a Dragon, maybe a Rayleigh. That would be some spice. I wonder what top end this deck is running because we haven't seen it yet. Maybe they've just had bad luck drawing. They're going to drop the 10 drop. That is a big play for them. I wonder how me countering out of that first swing impacted this decision, because if they planned on playing the 10 drop all along, they should have played it first so that they could maximize their Don usage by using Luffy's leader ability. They could have swung 7. But maybe they didn't initially think they were going to do 10 drop. It's only now that they think I've got to do the 10 drop. They skip my turn. That is lame. Now they've got 4 Don to work with. We might see a swing into Kikinojo. They are going to play out the Sanji blocker for 3 Don. They cheat the system. They hack to the mainframe. Okay, that joke wasn't funny. If you're still watching, I appreciate you. Editor, maybe you need to cut that out. They're debating on who and for how much to swing into. They're going to go 6,000, or at least I think they are. They keep pump faking me. 7,000 into lead. I think I just take this. Doesn't really matter. I think the Nami doesn't really do much for us here, but that's fine. 12,000 into life with Gear 5 Luffy, and we get the Satori trigger. We'll play that out. It's another body to swing with. Now we can just do a bunch of pokes. I think we'll be able to get the job done here. They don't have any Don up for a Radical Beam or anything. We'll start out with 7,000 from Kikinojo. They do have the 2K for that. Now I'm thinking I should probably put more down on my characters. We'll do 7,000 with Nami, and they just concede. That would have went through, or they could have blocked it, but that's GG's. Our next game up is against Carrot from OP08. This new mono green leader seems really fun. I haven't played it yet, but I want to make a video on her soon because it just seems like a really fun gimmick. We are on the odd curve. We don't have a turn 1 play. We never will have a turn 1 play, so we pass. They are going to go Wanda Searcher and reveal the Carrot from OP08. That 5-cost Carrot is really good. With 3 Don, I'm just going to swing at them really big and take a look at our life. We are going to find a Kikinojo. Now, this might be a little bit of a misplay. I decided to leave the Kikinojo on top, which seems fine, but the issue is they are a 5-life leader, and so I'm going to need to get one more swing on them and have them take a life. With them knowing that I left the top card of my life at the top, they may kind of be prepared for this, and once I start countering out of these swings, they may have the idea of, oh, they've got something that they don't want to trigger yet. So I think this kind of gives me away that it's something that requires an opponent to have 3 or less life, and I should have just swung really big here, I think. I'm going to swing for 7 and develop a Kikinojo, but really I think I should have swung all out just so that I have my Wano triggers as active. Instead, I'm going to swing 7, and they are going to counter out of this because they know that I don't want them to. I almost play the Inuarashi. I think there is an argument for it. The reason I do that is because if they just rest the Kikinojo and swing into it, it doesn't get its effect off to heal me a life. And so that's why I did the Inuarashi. You can make the argument that maybe I should have done Kikinojo anyway, just because Inuarashi has counter and Kikinojo doesn't. But alas, that's what I did. If you think I'm crazy, let me know in the chat. Here is where I continue to maybe be a little crazy, is I'm going to counter out with 2 cards, a 2K beige and a brulee, to get out of that swing, just because I really do not want to have to take that Kikinojo before the trigger is active, which I think I'm just being a little bit dramatic. I think I should have just taken it and moved on to the next trigger, but instead I am really trying to defend it, making sure I can get the setup perfectly, but I don't think it's worth it. They're going to give me two 2Ks to get out of that. The good news is that my S-Snake freezes the Carrot, so at least Carrot's ability won't happen again. The bad news is that they will play the Don Quixote Rosinante and also cheat out the Jewelry Bonnie. The Bonnie freezes the Inuarashi, so that is not ideal. They're going to swing 6 into into S-Snake, and I am going to counter out of this. We want to have some swings on board so that we can put pressure on them. They don't have a lot of cards in hand. We should probably be able to get rid of this Rosinante this turn. I'm going for life here, and I think that's a misplay. I definitely think I should have went for Rosinante first. I learned my lesson, and now I'm like, all right, I should go for Rosinante. The bright side, though, is now they are at 3 life, so I will be able to use my Wano triggers. Kikinojo will finally come out. They get the Carrot at the top of their life, and I'm debating on if I should leave it or if I should put it at the bottom. I decide to put it at the bottom. My big swing to Rosinante goes through. That's great news, and then I'll pass. They do have a decent-sized board. They do have 10 Don. We could see a Doflamingo 10 drop. That would be pretty oppressive, and I think would really do well for them. They might clear my board here, and I think that would be the move for them. Maybe not even swing into my life. 7,000 into Inuarashi, freezing Kikinojo. I've got to let it go. I wonder at what point my opponents realize that I'm playing a deck of only triggers when we start getting to the higher Don counts and they don't see a Big Mom 7-drop or 10-drop Big Mom, and they just go, wow, this guy's just only playing triggers. What a fool. 8,000 with Bonnie into S-Snake. I've got to let that one go too. RIP S-Snake, you put in work for a turn and a half. Now they've got 7 Don to work with. For 1, they'll play down the Wanda Searcher and get Pedro. That's a solid find for them. They're going to play that right out. They are also going to use Zoe's ability and swing 8,000 into me. I'm happy about that, though, because now I get to play the Kikinojo. I've got a swing on board. That makes me feel a lot better. Carrot is restood. That is not great. I might KO the Carrot with my Egghead Nami. I think that might be the move. First, I might want to swing into Bonnie and clear that. The Pedro, if they want to KO one of my characters, will just give me a life. So I'm kind of okay with that if they block with Pedro and then use his ability. I'm going to start out by going 7,000, or should I go 8? I think I should probably go 8. Yeah, 8,000 into Jewelry Bonnie. Don't give me the 2K. Let it die. Moment of truth. They give me the 0 cost event. That is unideal for me. It's not the end of the world, though. I can swing big with Katakuri, and this will go through unless they decide to block with Pedro. They let that go through. And now, while I don't want to get rid of my 0 cost event, the Egghead Nami I think is the right play. We get rid of their Carrot, and would you look at that, we draw into another 0 cost event. That was the universe rewarding us. They played out another Pedro, so they're going to block her up a little bit. They are going to rest the Nami. I bet they'll swing into it. They probably don't want to get rid of the Kikinojos if they can help it. I cannot counter out of this 5,000 swing into Nami, so I'm gonna have to let her go. RIP Nami, you were a real one. With the rest of their Don, they're gonna play the Hody. They do have to take a life, and who are they gonna swing into? They're gonna go into my leader, which works out great for me. I get the Denjiro trigger. I wouldn't say that was a bad play, but I'm not sure if that play was ideal. Would it have been better to maybe go into my Kikinojos and just let me have the extra life? Would it have been better to swing with the Wandas instead of playing down the Hody and having to take one of your own lives? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This turn, since I won't be able to get lethal, I'm just going to focus on clearing out that Hody. I'll start with 8,000 from Kikinojo, and they do have the counter to give me, but that's fine. I can just math it out. 8,000 with my other Kikinojo. If they want to block with Pedro and use its ability to KO one of my Kikinojos, I will get a life. So that is pretty good. Oh wait, I'm a fool. When Pedro dies, it can also rest one of your opponent's Dawn. And so, yeah, that caught me off guard. I'm an idiot. I'm a fool. I am the local village jester. They do it again. They rest one of my Dawn. Luckily, with Katakuri's ability, I am able to swing 8,000, even though I only had 2 Dawn left. We're going to take a look at my top life. It is the Charlotte Cracker. I think that will be the nail in the coffin. They probably won't be able to deal with my board this turn. We are going to pass it to them, and I don't know what they're going to do. A 10-cost Dofi would be pretty good here. They have the 5-cost Carrot, like a mini Dofi. They are going to freeze one of my Kikinojos. I think they should just try to clear board, but I don't know. They're in an awkward spot. I think the 10-cost Dofi would have been the only thing that really saves them. They're going to go 8 into Denjiro, and it's tragic, but I am actually able to counter out of this, and I will. That, I think, is just the nail in the coffin. They're going to go 5 with their lead, with Wanda, and unfortunately I can't use the Charlotte Cracker because they don't have a card to trash to play it out. They're going to pass it back to me, and this game is basically over. We'll just be able to swing for 6. We know what their last 2 life cards are. It's a 10-cost Dofi and it's a Carrot, neither of which have counter. So it is just going to be 1, 2, 3, GG's. That was a fun game though. Carrot, an interesting leader. I want to try her out. Warning, what you are about to witness is one of the most ridiculous games of One Piece card game that I have ever played. If you do not watch till the end of it, I do not blame you. This game is going to be absurd. We are Lotto Katakuri. We are playing against Purple Black King, and this game is not going to go the way you expect. We're going to start off by swinging 9,000 with our leader. They take that hit. We see Cracker is at the top of our life, and we will leave it there. They, on their turn, are just going to play Oni Island and not swing. They realize that we probably have a trigger if we left our life there, and so they are not going to want to have to deal with that, but we will continue. I'm going to swing 7,000 with our leader. I guess look at my opponent's top of life because I already know what I have at my top. And then for 4 Dawn, I'm going to play out Inuarashi. This will be a good card to apply some pressure with, and I will be able to KO maybe one of their characters with its ability if I feel so inclined. They're going to double Queen Search. The first one they get Oni Island from. The other one they get the Sasaki 2K from OP08 from. Then for 5 Dawn, they are going to play the Sabo blocker, filter out their hand a little bit. None of their characters can be KO'd by effects. That's a pretty solid play on their part. I think we might swing with leader and Inuarashi and then play another Inuarashi. That sounds like a decent play to me, or should we just swing big with both of those? We'll start out with 7,000 from Inuarashi, not using his ability. Now we can go 7,000 with leader. They're going to take that hit. I'm really surprised by how many lives they are taking. We check the top of our life just because we already know what the top of theirs is. Maybe I should have moved it to the bottom. I don't know. They're just not swinging at my life. They're going to swing 5,000 at Inuarashi, then play down the 10-cost Kuzan to get rid of my other one. And here is where I start to realize something is up. They were able to develop the 10-drop Kuzan, and I am going to have absolutely no way to get rid of it. And that's going to be terrible. Having the 10-drop Kuzan on board is going to make basically any play they want to do possible. with all my characters at -5 cost, their jacks hit basically everything. The Charlotte Linlin hits basically everything. We are not really running any high cost characters to begin with because we're going all triggers here. And so, yeah, it's pretty awkward for us right now. A Charlotte Linlin would help great if we could just drop a 10 drop, but alas, we're sticking to the 50 trigger bit. We are going to swing at 8,000 with leader. They might let this go through. Once, if this goes through, they don't. They counter out of it. That's good for us. Take some counter out of their hand. I play down S-Snake. Unfortunately, it can only hit a 6 cost or less, so it's not really that good in this moment. The main reason I put her out was just because she was a body on board, and my other characters in hand are 2k counters, so I'd rather keep those. They're going to have another Charlotte Linlin, bring them to 2 life, and things are getting awkward. They are not swinging at my life. This is absolutely absurd. They never swung at my life once so far. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm going to swing big with Parasparrow. They'll take that. Then I'm going to swing big again with Leader. They're going to take that again. Do they have another 9-drop Linlin? If they do, I'm going to rage. They KO the Parasparrow. I get the Cracker off of it. They have another Charlotte Linlin. This is 3 in a row. That is absolutely ridiculous. And they still refuse to swing. So now I've got, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 life cards. 7 life cards. And somehow I am in a terrible position. They just have an immaculate board, and I've got absolutely nothing. With that Kuzan there, I cannot get anything to stick. Unfortunately, I do not have any rush cards, so it's going to be hard for me to get swings on them besides just my leader. They are the most big-brained player I've ever seen. Like, is this the new strat against Katakuri? He would have no idea that I don't run any big bodies, so this is just, I don't know, this is just crazy. There's no other words for it. I get the Cracker trigger, and I will trash the Nami, but I immediately regret that. Nami, while it is only 1k counter, and I want to keep the 2k counters, her ability to get rid of a 5-drop blocker is so good, and that would be perfect for this turn right here. I am a fool for that. Flame Split, aka Blaze Slice, only hits a 4 or less, so yeah, I'm just a fool. F in the chat for Johnny being a fool. But we must continue on. I'm actually going to turn the speed up here just because you do not want to sit through this entire game on normal speed. This is just absurd. I have never been a part of something like this. We're going to go 6,000 with Cracker. We're going to do another 6,000 with Cracker again. They've got 2Ks for this. They got crazy card advantage with the 2 queens. Now we're going to go big with our Katakuri. Put the beige at the bottom of our life. That is great, but will it be enough? We just have to hope that they maybe go all out on a turn, and then we catch them slipping with the beige. But since we put it to the bottom, they probably know something's there, so they will be prepared probably. They're going to clear my Crackers. You hate to see it. Play out a queen, pick up a who's who. Now they're going to play out the jack. Ladies and gentlemen, they're putting on a clinic. They only have 1 blocker up right now. Man, I wish I had that Nami. Dang. We're just going to swing big, hoping that they maybe use the blocker. We swing 8, and they are able to counter out of that. I wonder if I should have swung bigger, because my idea here is that I swing... My original idea was that I would swing, then play out Denjiro and give him 2 Dawn to guarantee that he can't be KO'd by my opponent's effects. Now, I decide not to do that and just swing big to get rid of the queen. Now, their turn, 10 Dawn. They're going to start with 5,000 to Satori. we are going to give them that. No point in trying to defend it. We want them to swing into our life so we can get some triggers. We get the Satori trigger, and that is not the best trigger to play out. I don't think. Maybe I should have, just because it would have been another body they have to deal with. I didn't want to have to trash a card from my hand. I thought maybe more defense would have been better. They play down the Queen and the Eustace Captain Kidd. Our Nami will be able to get rid of one of them, so that is very good. We'll get rid of the Eustace Kidd. Now we can decide to swing big or play out a character. I decide to swing big with the hope that this gets rid of their Queen blocker at least, and it does. Now maybe we just have to hope for a lucky trigger after S-Snake. Unfortunately, S-Snake does not hit a cost 7 or higher character, which all of their characters are. So the trigger for S-Snake's not going to be very valuable. We are going to start countering out kind of, because now we don't really want to take hits. They have the Charlotte Linlin again. This is their 4th one. You got to be kidding me. Judge, can I get a deck check? I think they got more than 4 in there. That is bad news. They got rid of my Nami. We are going to swing 9,000. They take that last hit. This is our big brain play. We put on Denjiro to Don, prevent him from being KO'd. Maybe they run Kaido and are able to trash it, but it should be able to stay alive until this next turn. They're going to go 9,000 at me. I will use the beige trigger to freeze the Kuzan. Now I'm debating on whether or not I should counter out of this Linlin swing or just take it. I decide to counter out of it because I was expecting maybe it's possible they run like a 9-drop rush Kaido. In hindsight, I think I should have let that go and forced them to swing at me with Jack. Here, there's just nothing I can do to get around 2 blockers, and with only 1 life card left, it is over for me. Crazy game. This player is goated. If you're watching this, you're a beast.
Ladies and gentlemen, what did you think of those games? This deck is an absolute menace to society. I would be furious if I had to play against this deck. Now, it doesn't win all the time. It's not the best deck ever, but it is a lot of fun, and it just kind of embraces the absurdity that is the trigger mechanic. If anyone takes this to locals, let me know how it goes. This has been a Johnny TCG video. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Peace.